This week on AEW Dynamite, we saw two new superstars making their appearance. Probably shouldn't use the term superstars here, it's not WWE, but that's what I've said anyway, so we're going to roll with it. But we saw Keith Lee make his debut on AEW television in a great match against Isaiah Cassidy, and we also saw Switchblade Jay White opening the Forbidden Door and making his appearance on AEW television. Now, there is a reason that we got both of these debuts on the same show. You were probably thinking, why would you have both of these big names appear in one go? And kind of not necessarily waste them, but you could have split these out across different shows and made these pops a bit different on different nights, both equally important here. Or are these equally important? And that's kind of what I want to get into. Now, the reason this happened was Tony Khan put out a tweet about someone booting in the Forbidden Door and closing it on the previous employers, and he realised that that was supposed to be Keith Lee, and Keith Lee's actually a free agent, so he butchered the term Forbidden Door there. So he kind of wanted to make good on that, and so what he did, he went out and he secured Jay White to appear, and only days before the show and days before it happened, because he put out the tweet, saw all the fans' feedback and realised, what have I done here? I need to try and do a bit of a make good, if you will. And that's all very well and good that he wants to make good on a tweet that he put out, and he knew he'd be rinsed for it when Keith Lee turns up and everyone goes, he's a free agent, what were you on about? But it's also a little bit disappointing in the fact that we've almost wasted Jay White here, and I don't think we fully wasted him. Don't get me wrong, the fact he's shown up here is great, but we could have probably done this in a bit of a better way and fought it out a little bit more and planted some seeds, something of that nature. But we've diluted it. Keith Lee coming out, huge pop. Everybody's talking about Keith Lee, and rightly so. Great performance. I absolutely love Keith Lee, and I can't wait to see what else that he does. Just the way he threw Isaiah Cassidy into space in his first sort of move, outstanding. The way he soaked in the crowd, soaked in the emotions of the moment. A brilliant moment, and rightly so, people should be talking about that. It was fantastic to see. But what we've lost there is the conversation about Jay White. Jay White being in AEW is a big deal. It strengthens that relationship with New Japan. It leads to more storylines when Kenny Omega comes back, and it's building to that already. But the conversation and discourse around what this could and should have been, in my opinion, has somewhat been lost, and that in and of itself is a shame. Jay White here is doing the best he can, and I think Tony Khan will make this work. We all know he's a fantastic booker, and I think it's safe to say we can let this play out and see where we get to. But I would have liked to see this have its own moment and be its own thing. We wasted the pop of Jay White being in the ring. Like, we got him in a backstage segment on TV. We then had him on Rampage coming out towards the end of the show. Great, but imagine if he just turned up live on Dynamite, in the ring, made a running, whatever, however we did it, music plays, that pop, that moment would have been remembered way more fondly than him showing up in a backstage brawl that was pre-recorded and then going on to Dynamite and being there for something that's pre-recorded. Yes, I know the fans see it all in one night, but you get my drift. But what does this mean then moving forward? I think Keith Lee's introduction into AEW has been perfect. He's going on to the Face of the Revolution ladder match where we all know he's going to do Keith Lee stuff and it's going to be incredible. So I think his part of this has been handled well and will continue to do so, and we'll get to see lots more of Keith Lee and the proper Keith Lee. No Bearcat here. So happy about this. Keith Lee, full body exposed. Not full body exposed, but you get what I'm saying. The old look is back. Everything that we love about Keith Lee is here, and he gets to do Keith Lee. Now, Jay White has probably got a bit more work to do now because, again, the conversation and discourse isn't about him going into Revolution, into the next few months, even into the next week of television. Again, his next match is already scheduled for Rampage, which kind of, for me anyway, lessens that impact. But I think what we're hopefully going to get here, and they're already alluding to it slightly, is those bits where he interacts with the Elite and with Kenny and Adam Cole. So obviously Adam Cole's kind of brought him in. The Young Bucks aren't happy about that because if you know your New Japan history, there's relationships there with him turning on Kenny, pretending to join the Bullet Club when he's part of Chaos, and all of these kind of things that play into this story, and they'll drip feed more and more of that information for the casual viewer as we go along. But I think there is a lot of work to do there now. He's not the star that we all know and love. If you've watched New Japan, he's been on Impact, and we've seen teases of Kenny and Switchblade on Impact of those two mingling up, and it phased out, if you like. If you know anything about Kenny Omega, you know he loves long-term storytelling. So potentially he's kind of arced this out a little bit as well, and they've had conversations prior before signing the deal, if you will. But I think it's going to be a bit of a slower burn. That initial impact there hasn't been there. So there's going to be more work to do. It's hopefully going to play into everything that I think and everything that I've said there. So we'll get the teases of the Elite splitting up Adam Cole, trying to want to be the figurehead of that, taking Kenny Omega's spot as the Golden Boy, leading to that feud down the line, which potentially could be for a world title. It could not. Depends how they go with it. But that's where we'll probably get to. We'll probably have the Undisputed Era forming up again. You know, the Red Dragon at the moment, but you see what I mean. And then we'll get more and more of that as time goes on. But I really would have liked to see Jay White be put in a more prominent position to make this feel more important, the fact he's there, because it is a big deal, guys. He's Jay White. He's the leader of the Bullet Club. Like, he's an awesome professional wrestler, and he's fantastic on the mic, probably better on the mic than he is in the ring, and that's saying something because he does have very good in-ring skills if you've seen him. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think the way it was handled for me wasn't the best. But what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe if you want more wrestling content, and we'll talk again soon.